absolutely humbled beyond belief. I really didn't expect this. I don't really know what else to say about that, so that's why we wrote a few things down. Where am I? Okay.
You're on that page.
So, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
So almost 50 years ago, it'll be 50 years in June, I started here as a 15-year-old kid. I came down the Camp Road for the very first time, knowing very little about what I was getting into. And little did I know that my life was about to change in many ways. I was greeted by a group of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. And they escorted me to my room and my new quarters for the summer, and proceeded to unpack, and 5 minutes later, they were coming in and saying, okay, it's time to go. So I was given literally 5 minutes to settle in. I was led up to Alumni Hall with a big burly man named Nick Volger. There we would begin to open up a building by taking down the chairs from the tables. I grabbed my first chair and lifted it off the table only to shatter the fluorescent light directly above me. Nick turned at me and scowled without saying a word. He just handed me a broom, no words. After cleaning the glass from the floor, I quickly returned, taking down chairs, and I grabbed my second chair and proceeded to smash another light. The look on Nick's face was simply terrifying. However, all he did was hand me a rake and send me out to rake leaves. Decades later, Nick would tell the story much more colorfully by throwing in thoughts that were going through his head at the time. I was one of a decade later, I was one of the first, luckily, one of the first people to become a year-round staff member here. There was only a handful of us at the time, and one of my responsibilities was to travel around to college campuses and do recruitment for the summers. It was the best job I ever had. Selling Ramapo was one of my favorite and easiest jobs. And all I had to do, and this was a true story, all I had to do was take out a slide projector and let it flip through the pictures of the previous summer. The joy and the laughter on everybody's face did all the selling. The Ramapo table at these jobs fairs was always a hit, always packed. It was a great job. Since the first day in 1975, Ramapo has been a guiding force in my life. It has taught me values like kindness, compassion, respect, and instilled in me a sense of service to others. While many of my friends would go on to become teachers, social workers, and even doctors, my path was somewhat different. When I left Ramapo in 1994 to start my company, I took with me all of those values, and I try to apply them daily. Thank you, Ramapo. This is truly an honor, and I'm truly humbled. Really, I appreciate it. I'd like to close by thanking a few people who influenced me along the way. First of all, the Stemple family. Glenn, Sam, Joyce, and yes, even Greg. Bob Thomases, Nick and Carol Volger, Bernie and Susan Cosberg, and of course, Mike Hewnan. I'd like to thank my kids, my daughters, Casey and Ellie, who have spent their entire childhood listening to camp stories. So again, I'd like to thank my two best friends, Glenn Stemple and John Ball, both gone way too soon. So thank you again. I appreciate it, and I'm very, very honored. Thank you.